On the radio, fake what I made up, history. If you like to write, you're taking chances. She's new, paranormal, searching for the truth. Is it a man in a mask who goes for a demon? What is it like? What is the reason? She is new, paranormal.
Hey everybody, it's us.
Hello.
If anyone read my little ad then at the end, I must amend that because I now have another sponsor. So thank you to the Nevada State Prison for also being a sponsor of the event in July. Awesome. Alrighty, here we are. Here's Enzo. I hope you're all ready for our little segment this week, and I've made a jingle and everything. So members, channel members would have already seen that jingle, Enzo. I allowed them a special preview. It got some fun feedback. But yeah, so we're in for a treat today because Enzo went to Geneseo, Kansas. Geneseo. He went to Geneseo, Kansas, where there was a little museum there that's rather famous, but he can talk about that later. Yeah, it's been a weird week. It's been a really weird time for everybody this week. I think maybe it's the moon. Maybe the moon causes issues, Enzo. You know, like the moon and the cosmos and the stars don't align or something sometimes can make you have a shit of a week.
Yeah, well, we did have the eclipse here in the U.S. on Monday, and
I'll blame that.
A few days ago, some strange anomalous stuff that we'll talk about later. That
Enzo
was
talk
via
about
satellite. That. So.
And I'm going to try to refrain from any rants today because I'm so stressed that I think if I go on a rant, you'll see an instant explosion of my head on screen, and we don't want that. I will say some nice things about one channel and some disappointing things about another, and it's only the really big channels. So it's the channels that are just for fun anyway, like the Sam and Colby. I watched because I've been to Bobby Mackey's, right? I've been there. I investigated there. And I thought, I'll just see what they give on the history, and credit to them. First time I've ever seen anybody, not necessarily, although through their investigation they did, but in the intro, they did get what it was before it was Bobby Mackey's correct. They got a few things correct, and I thought, that's very good. So I was very pleased to see the history of Bobby Mackey's as presented by the two lads is pretty spot on. Still disappointing that they asked questions of a lady that never was murdered there, and still that's part still, but I suppose because that's the narrative of the place, that's the story that intrigues everybody, and Pearl Bryan's head, I don't know, but anyway, but other than that, I thought, that was good. Then someone said to me, have you seen what are they called again? The fear something, the young kids, the group of the brother, the sister, I've forgotten. You'll know, chat, who I'm talking about. Then I watched them because they went to the Sally house, and everybody who knows me and has been with this channel for a while knows I'm awfully passionate about the Sally house and the Finney family. And I thought, I'll see how their research went. Oh, geez. Okay, so firstly, they got who built the house completely wrong. Then they said it was set up as a surgery, as a medical practice. It never was. I thought, where are they getting their info? And then it went on, and they concentrated very much on the death of Sally in the house caused by the doctor and whatever. And I thought, So I tuned out because I thought, well, it'll just be for fun, but never mind. It would have been all right if they got everything else right, and just got the Sally story in there for the clicks, whatever they want to do, because that's how I look at it now. They just pretend, so they just get the clicks. But they got everything wrong. Michael Finney, FYI, for people that don't know, Michael Finney built the house. Anyway, not Charlie. Charlie lived in it as a little boy, and then he moved away, became a doctor, came back to town, had his practice in town. I'm ranting. Had his practice in town, never in that house, because he didn't live in that house after he got back to town, because he built the house next door. That's it. End of my rant. That's all I'll say. But I was pleased to see, so far as the other two boys is concerned, a little bit of truth in the research. So whoever did their research did a pretty decent sort of a job. Good work. Not that they'd care to get my approval, but still. And yes, all right, let me catch up and see who's here. And then I'm really excited to get Enzo to talk about all this stuff, because I'm excited. I've been looking forward to it all week. So who's here? Denise. Hello, Denise. And, of course, Tanya, old faithful, she's here, my lovely little friend Tanya, and wonderful moderator. Oh, look, Enzo's in the chat. He's asking for the link. I wondered why he was late, everybody. I'm thinking, where's Enzo? Forgot to send him.
Way in.
Mike O, I haven't seen you for a little while. Hello, Mike O. And Lisa. Hello, Lisa. And Julie. Ian. Who else have we got? I said hello to Julie. I'm just going down. Well, I think if I got... Oh, Native Wildman. Hello. Native Wildman. I like that name. Excellent. Hi, mate. Mike says, Karen, we are here to listen if you need to rant. Oh, I think I bent poor old Tanya's ear yesterday. The only person who missed out on me bending an ear was Enzo. I thought I'll leave him alone. He needs to concentrate on today. I was like so stressed yesterday, but that's okay. I'm fine. I'm sort of fine today. Just bring it out, bring it down, just prioritize and just breathe. So it's all good. Candy. Hello. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Well, my day's just started. Enzo's day's getting into the end of it. And everybody in England, I'm trying to think of what time it is there again. Evening, late in the UK. I think, Ian, what time is it? But yeah, so hello to everybody. Hi, Cheryl and Dee. So as everyone pops in, I'll try and catch them and say hello. But and thank you for the congratulations on my 5,000 subscribers, Enzo. And I'm looking at the views for my videos thinking, where is this happening and where is this coming from? So I'm really happy that it's actually coming from mostly my history videos on Villisca, Sally House, what a skinwalker is. Like, so people, I don't know, I must have hit some kind of area there where YouTube's now pushing it a little bit because it's just, yeah.
Riding that algorithm like the wave.
Oh, it must be. And look, you know, it'll probably peter out, you know, it'll settle down until, but I'm just stoked and I'm just happy that people, yeah, thanks, Julie. Wendy, hello. Yeah, so I'm just stoked because it means that people are appreciating what I'm putting together. So there you go. What's Julie saying? Another compliment, Julie. I always like it. Julie always calls me a beautiful lady. Just listening. I'm doing my makeup to go to town. Oh, you're going to town. I'll go to the shops later too. Mike says, Karen, you've worked very hard to get where you're at. Congratulations. Thank you, Mike. But see, hard work does pay off. Even though for a little while there I thought, oh, God, I work so hard at doing this. Why isn't anyone watching my stuff? And now all of a sudden, and I still contribute it also to the fact that Beardo, bless his cotton socks, and The Shape shared out the Shape shared out the Villisca one, and the Villisca one, in my, like for me, has gone, I can't think how many views it's got so far. I've forgotten. It's either 5,000 or 7,000 views. And I'm like, whoa, Must be 5. I think I'm getting excited if I say 7. I haven't got the window open to look. But, so thank you to those 2 gentlemen who made people aware of the history research I do, which is, you guys know, I go along to, I have investigated, and that is fun. Even if nothing ever happens to me when I'm investigating, it's still awesome to go to those famous places and sort of touch them and say I've been there, and one day, if I'm lucky, something will happen. I am, fingers crossed, if the tickets all sell, I am going back to America in July, and Enzo, I'll take him along to the mines and all that sort of stuff. I promise I won't push him down any mine shafts. But it'll be fun. So I might even get an opportunity if Enzo wants to come along with me while he's there. Maybe we could go and do something, Enzo. I've got friends in high places. I'm pretty sure we can sneak in somewhere and just do something a bit fun. So I don't know. But yeah, so mainly I guess my channel now is more sort of around research and history and stuff. I don't know. It's a mishmash. And then we've got Enzo, because we have Enzo on, and you've got which is going to lead us into the next segment. Enzo is awesome. He should have his own channel, but he's got this format. He's got here. One day he'll get a bit more confidence, and maybe Enzo will start up a Enzo the Science Guy channel. And I can help him make videos. I can say, just do this, Enzo, and I'll edit it together for you. He doesn't even have to go live, does he, guys? He could just, I could help him edit some things together, and he can just
pop up
talk
here
about
and there. That's a little more my style, is just kind of appearing in the background.
Yeah, I know, but he's awesome. So I'm looking forward to his little talk today. And hi, Kathy. Indeed, as I have said, your history videos are a niche to do. I don't know others that do it. Even so, places would be interesting to learn about. Thank you. Yeah, I just find that, like, when you do watch the paranormal shows that go in, I can't. I saw an episode go up the other day. I sent a link to my friend Joe Vitale and said, Joe, check this out, because it was on the Munro House. And I have researched the Munro House as well. I helped Joe out a little bit with that, just a little bit. The person giving the history of the house straight off the bat got the year the house was built wrong, and then started to say all this other stuff. And I went, oh, for God's sakes. And then I thought, does nobody pay attention in this world? So, yeah, even though a lot of paranormal places go to these things and don't really research, I would dare say they go there, they've got a rough idea, and then whoever gives them the keys and lets them in tells them some more stories or tales, and they just run with that, which is a bit of a shame, because if you're spending all that money, and it's not cheap to go to some of these locations, if you're spending all that money, at least do a bit of groundwork so the information you've got about the history of the place is accurate, as close as you can get, because it makes the investigation more, anything you find, any evidence you might get is more likely to be able to be linked, if you're lucky, in some way to the actual history. You might miss it if you don't know the actual history. If you don't really know who died in a house, or if you don't really know what the truth is, you might get some solid evidence and write it off because, for example, someone hasn't said Sally or whatever. And it's a shame, because you're spending all the money to go to those places. Do your research properly, or hit me up and I'll do it for you. I'll do it for free because I want the dead to be respected. It's, we've all got people in our lives that are dead, and we want them to remain respected in their death. So I just get cranky. Oh no, it was another Karen rant. I just should put up a constant
little banner at the bottom.
a little banner. Be aware, be warned, trigger warning. Karen could go on a rant. Oh dear. Hello, let's have a look. Bugs in New Zealand aren't big, are they, Tanya? I don't think so. Bugs are big everywhere. Let's have a look. Oh, they're talking about bugs. Right, we better get them back on paying attention.
Gotcha.
They're obviously ignoring my rants. All right, everybody. Are you going to get ready for the little intro I made for Enzo? I reckon you should beam yourself back in. I reckon you should beam yourself in. I should run the intro. You should be off screen and then and beam yourself in. But anyway, so here we go, guys. So Enzo is going to talk about his recent trip and a few other scientific type things. So enjoy his intros for those of you who are not members and haven't seen it.
Who's that man in the fancy shirt? Who's the man with the cheeky smirk? Who has the answers? Who can explain? Well, it's Enzo the science guy. Enzo the science guy. Ask him how, ask him why. Enzo the science guy. He's Enzo the science guy.
Hello.
Golly, I hope you all like that. Hello, Enzo. Imagine seeing you here.
I know.
Tell
I
everybody
clicked
what
on
you
a
got.
link and I found myself here.
Yeah. So what are you talking about this week, Enzo?
Well, as most of fans of the show understand, I was not here for most of the show last week because my friends from Border Town Paranormal, which I know I see Jessica Holman in the chat. I don't know if there's anyone else out there from the team in there. We all journeyed up to Geneseo, Kansas, which is a small town in the middle, kind of in the middle of nowhere in central Kansas, because that is where the kind of self-designated UFO museum for Kansas is. It's kind of the central nexus point. Nobody else was doing it. They're like, we'll do it. So mostly because back in the 50s and 60s, the town doctor of this small little place was really big into UFOs. But UFOs were a big thing in the 50s already. And he was extremely interested in it. So much so, he was doing his own research. He would travel to different areas of the central part of the U.S. to, interview people and take pictures and samples and the whole works. All the same stuff that an investigator today would do, minus the internet, minus phones, maybe even minus electricity in some cases for some of the places he had to go, because that stuff wasn't that widespread the early 50s especially. So did a lot of legwork for all of this. And when he eventually, he was always proud of his little town of Geneseo, Kansas, that he worked and lived in. So much so that when he passed away, they decided to take the house. It was actually his parents' house. His parents, he had this house built and paid for for his parents, because he was a doctor. He had a lot of money back in those days. And his parents lived there. They passed away. I think he moved in at some point much later, but then he passed away. And basically they dedicated his house to be the town museum. And it's got this most of it's because that's what it is. It's not really a UFO museum exactly. It has UFO stuff in it, but it's the Geneseo Town Museum, where they've got like some of the first newspapers from the area from the late 1800s. They have all of the graduating classes from the little tiny schools. 1902 graduating class. There's like 2 people in it. That kind of thing. But it's quaint and amazing. They have this whole flipboard kind of thing with all of the graduating classes from the early 1900s up to today. And it's just I was fascinated by it. We're just flipping through, just looking at the people, how they were dressed, what was a regular kind of appearance kind of a thing for them, their daily life stuff. And it was amazing. A lot of amazing stuff. Small town USA kind of a historical retrospective, just walking through the whole house. But there's one room in the center of the ground floor that is, for the most part, award-winning spam. That's true. They were around, what was the magazine where it was like I don't even remember now. There's so many little tchotchkes and little like news clippings all over the entire house. That was one of the things that Jess spotted. But there's the one central room, middle of the house that's all about his UFO research. Some of the stuff there's some amazing illustrations that some of the people that helped him with his work did, and I will point out Mark, one of the guys from Bordertown Paranormal, as he was kind of doing his walkthrough, did a full video walkthrough of pretty much the whole place, and the raw footage of that is all available on their YouTube page, which just put the link in there. Please go by and possibly subscribe if you like what you see. But he has several different videos of just the raw footage of walking through. The guy that runs the whole thing, Jim, which we'll see pictures of him in a minute. That's what he looks like all the time. That's what he always wears.
I'll see. What's his name again? I'll show everyone. Jim. What's his last name? Oh, you got some? Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on a second here.
You're expecting more to want to have a gunfight and show you through a museum.
But this is you can buy T-shirts and mugs and amongst other things, tchotchkes there of your time at the Geneseo City Museum. But these are just some random. This is the house. You can this is Geneseo Museum here. You walk in, you walk through the whole tour. They have an attic area full of stuff. It's pretty interesting stuff if you're interested in that small town early,
It's so cute too.
Early America, yeah. But I have a bunch of pictures from the UFO section where it's mostly a lot of newspaper clippings and photographs.
Actually, Enzo, see that picture you're looking at there? The bottle of water, I did see him roughly talking about that in the raw footage. What? That water's how old? It was ancient. It's a bottle of almost ancient water. But
I forget the exact. It's certainly in the videos.
It is in the videos how old it was. It's something. It's 60, maybe more years old. The water in the bottle. I'm like, ew, you wouldn't want to get thirsty and drink it.
It was a water sample that they took at a site. I don't recall the exact stuff, what the situation was with that particular one, but there is a specific thing that you brought up from the videos that we will take a closer look at here in a minute.
Oh, the dog.
But, yeah, that's the dog. Actually, that's the dog right there. James Hill, which we'll talk about here in a second. John Dean helped them out. They have a lot of old photographs. It's like, what's going on in this photo? A lot of older books that were in there. We'll take a closer look at this book here in a second. Buck Nelson, who's it's hard to just it's a contact story. It's not an abduction. It was nothing against his will, but from like 1955, it has a heavy influence about that. And if you're interested in the Buck Nelson story, I have a video, but you can just do a search on YouTube to find out a little bit more about Buck Nelson. But Buck Nelson's story is very similar to a lot of other stories from the 50s when it comes to UFOs, where they see a UFO, they kind of like shine a light at it, it shines a light back. It disappears and then comes back after a few days and lands, and people that look just like you and I get out and have English conversations with them. It's like, hey, you want to go for a ride on our spaceship? And they take them for a spin around the solar system. And often, these human-looking aliens say that they're from somewhere within the solar system, Mars or Venus or Jupiter or wherever around the stuff. And this particular one is one of those early stories of where he's a simple farmer in middle of nowhere, Missouri. It has a full story of getting picked up by some folks from Venus, which had apparently a gigantic dog that was several hundred pounds with them, which is we'll talk about a different dog from Venus here in a minute. But there's diagrams of the ship they were in. It's a pretty interesting story. But another contactee, Chief Frank Buckshot Standing Horse from Oklahoma, had very similar story of contact with these spacemen, as they often referred to them. Where he was taken up in your basic flying saucer, and they flew up to a large mothership, kind of arrow shaped, kind of rocket ship style mothership up in orbit, kind of thing. And he got the whole nickel tour. Dr. Jansen was this doctor's name. He had several other friends that were astronomers and stuff like that. There's Jim Gray.
Yeah.
This is what Jim looks like all the time. This is his normal dress. This is what he always wears. And it's not a costume thing. It's not okay, I'm going to the museum, I gotta yuck it up. No, that's just how he normally dresses. But it's him giving the discussion, which if you watch the videos over the other thing, you'll get to hear Jim explaining a lot of these things. I like this one. We actually pulled this one out of the case. Flying Saucers Close Up by John Dean. Spacemen urged the author to compile this book, supplied much of the information, and approved of this work.
Wow. Scoop.
There you go. And you can apparently get a robot armor on and fly around in this hover scooter thing, I guess. But they have a lot of other memorabilia. These are a bunch of old license plates that used to be on cars throughout Kansas. I think the earliest one is, there's a 1925 license plate there. I don't know what year it was, but they were very proud that Miss America was from Kansas one year. So Kansas, home of Miss America, land of beautiful girls. I don't know why you would hang that on your truck, but apparently that was the thing. They've got parts of the town itself. This is again the history. This was I forget what it had this really wacky name. This was like the Contabulator or something that they had at their local bank, which that thing weighs about 80 pounds. And that's how they did all of the deposits and withdrawals and all that. And you can see it's got a million different keys for different things that it had to do. And it's crazy time with the old tech there. All right, here we go. This is what Karen, I think, would be most interested in.
Oh, yeah. Look at the little Mars dog.
we got a little dog. We're going to zoom in and read the byline here. On October 15th, 1950, a spaceship from the planet Venus landed on the open space back of James L. Hill's home near Seymour, Missouri. The spacemen let their dog Queen out of the ship, and she gave birth to 6 pups under a tree. 5 were brown lichen color, and 1 pup was snow white. The spacemen told Hill that they would not take a mother Queen back on board the spaceship after so soon giving birth, and for Mr. Hill to take good care of Queen, and that she would be mostly friendly in a few days. And she was just that. Hill brought Queen and her pups to his house. The spacemen told Hill to give Queen and 5 of her pups away, and for him to keep the solid white pup for his own. And they told him to call her Queenie. Queenie eventually weighed about 80 pounds as an adult. She was very intelligent, understood telepathy, loved to watch TV programs of a Western type, and Lassie programs. Imagine that. When Lassie was in trouble, Queenie was almost tearful. Here groomed Queenie quite often and saved her silk-like wool. And now, 1965, when this was written, has about 7 pounds of it. Queenie died February 11th, 1961. The graves of Queenie and her mother, Queen, are carefully kept today in Hill's backyard.
Oh.
And this is a picture of Queenie.
From the planet Venus.
This is a lock of Queenie's hair in the display case.
Isn't it such a cute little story? What if it was true?
Well,
I mean, I
and
suppose aliens could have dogs. I mean, what's stopping them?
yeah, well, Buck Nelson's story, he goes into great detail because Buck Nelson, they took him to Mars. He put on his best bibbed overalls and his dog, and they went and boarded the ship, and they took him for a ride. He went to the moon and met with the leader of the moon, and went to Mars and met with the leader of Mars, went to Venus, met with the leaders of Venus. There was a common theme of, hey, you Earth people and your nuclear weapons, you better watch it. That's going to be a mess for you guys.
This place is awesome. Like, even look there up the top, the photograph, an actual photograph of the spaceship taken June 16th, 1965.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
New Mexico.
This is Albuquerque. This picture of a spaceship, flying saucer, in quotes, was taken in Missouri prior to 1960. This particular dog right here, Big Bo, a dog from the planet Venus. This dog was on the spaceship in which Buck Nelson took his trip to Mars, the moon, and Venus, April 1955. The dog weighed 385 pounds.
That's pretty big, isn't it? That can't be right. That'd be a monster. It'd be bigger than a wolf. I don't even think a wolf would make. Amazy's asking you a question, Enzo.
Did anyone ever test the dog? I do not know. I would assume someone would have, but I didn't. I was actually talking with someone else when I think Mark took this particular picture. This is actually Buck Nelson's dog that went with him on the trip to all the planets. So he had his own dog that went with him, his own Earth dog. But Buck Nelson wrote a whole book about it, My Trip to Mars, the Moon, and Venus. He actually was one of the first people to start up like UFO conventions in the 50s, where people would come from all over the world to interview them and talk to them and have a lot of interesting stuff. And very much like today, after about 10 years, when it started getting into the early 60s, he decided he wanted to upgrade his almost sort of semi-celebrity status and start asking for money, because he wanted to build a giant radio tower to transmit his message. Because that's the other thing is all the different aliens he met here in the solar system kind of had a basic message of, look, there's 12 rules that you have to live by, that if you do that, your society is going to be great. We don't have, none of these other planets, we don't have wars. Basically, it was very similar to like the 10 Commandments plus 2. They had 2 other ones. So there's certainly similarities. So he decided he would, and again, remember, late 50s, early 60s, he's like, I need $50,000 to build this giant radio tower to spread his word a little bit about that message, the 12 rules, and maybe even strong enough to maybe contact these other planets directly. And the current state of 50s, 60s ufology, very much like today, was like, we're not giving you a bunch of money, you're a grifter, kind of attitude. So he kind of fell out of favor for a little while.
Buck Nelson, is that him there in that photo? Because who's that? I don't think.
No, that's actually, I don't. This is the one thing about the museum is sometimes there's like random photos kind of thrown in that don't really match the rest. That's actually a famous side profile picture of Valiant Thor, which is a whole other story. Who came to Earth from one of our planets here in the solar system and was speaking to Congress. And there's actually pictures of him. That's one of them.
Yep. I've just Googled him.
Yeah. But, but for the 50s, and basically like what happened with Buck Nelson is once the space race started kicking in the mid 60s and stuff like that, people started, we're sending, probes out to all of these planets that these very human-like aliens say they're from. People are like, hey, you said you went to the moon and there were like towns and cities and dogs and all that stuff. It's empty. It's rocks. What's going on? So Well, and again, this was the 50. This was before we ever went to the moon. This is actually even sometimes even before like the first satellite was launched in to orbit by the Russian, Sputnik. So that was the state of ufology in the 50s and 60s. Now there are some pretty interesting stuff in there. There's certainly some tales, but that was very common for that era to have very human looking aliens back in the day.
Mm.
Oh, there was a rainbow that we saw on the way home. We managed to skirt a whole line of thunderstorms on the way home, and the gang got a picture of that. But just some random pictures from around the house. Here's Jim. He likes this one. Flying saucers are real. The Air Force doesn't exist. Which, of course, you'll have directly under the map of the planet Corridor.
Where did they get that from?
All of because you'll see there the walls are covered in amazing illustrations, which one of the gentlemen that I showed a picture of earlier drew all this stuff. These are all from people that had encounters with aliens that told them about it or showed them pictures of their home world or all this. Not all of them were from like Moon and Mars and Jupiter and stuff like that. Some of them, like in this instance, are from some other place outside of our solar system. So is it believable? Some of, nowadays it's kind of like, I don't think they were from, Mars or the moon or Venus, but, and there's a lot of, newspaper clippings everywhere. There's big fat me looming over everyone else, and while Jim's telling us a tall tale. But you can see up in the corners here, we've got this is what the clock on Venus looks like, where it's got 27 hours or something like that today. And here's a spaceship that took them there, and this is what the inside of a spaceship from Saturn, and it's got this very schematic diagram. Here's the dinner table, and there's where the bathroom is, and things like that. It's very interesting and detailed.
You could travel around America in that.
Yeah, really quick.
Oh gosh.
But a lot of amazing stuff in there. This is we'll get back to that here in a second. And again, more pictures. There's the constant theme of no nukes. No nuclear war bad. Don't do that. You silly humans. Let's see. I won't get too deep into some of these other things, but then we get to 2 years ago.
Yeah, explain that one.
2 years ago, the city of Geneseo was had set money aside to redo all of their roads, had an infrastructure project for the town to repave, resurface all the roads, and they wanted, before they dedicate anything, was okay, we need a complete breakdown of what really needs work or what's something that we can put off for later because we have a limited amount of money. And so they had a project to go around and just do a basic cleanup of the whole town, because parts of the town had, like we can see here at the very bottom, they had cement curbs along some of the streets, and some of them were pretty old. Some of them were falling apart. Some of them were still in pretty good shape from all the way back into the 40s and 40s, 50s, 60s. It was all various different stages of, degradation amongst the town's roads. So they wanted, okay, we'll take a power washer. We'll go through the whole town. We'll take a good close look at, this one's good enough for now. This has got to go. We need to replace it. While they were doing this is directly in front of, you can sort of see the back corner of the doc's house, back there, the museum back there. They came across, this is pretty much right in front of his house.
Mm-hmm.
They came across this etched into
the concrete
while the cement was still wet. Someone basically drew, this is what's referred to as a compass rose. Mm-hmm. So you've got your find it here, you've got your north, your south, west, east, northeast, southeast, southwest, northeast. You got your main compass points. And it kind of looks like in that southwest corner, like it might kind of little be sort of like a UFO.
Kind of like the one you saw. That's the shape you
Maybe.
saw, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a triangle.
Mhm.
Now, as it turns out, and I tested this when I went up there to visit 2 years ago. When was the last time I was up there? I put my cell phone, I turned on my like GPS program, so it had the exact GPS coordinates, and I sat it right next to that. I had a friend take a picture of it. And when I got home, I entered those exact coordinates in there because to test their claim. If you follow a southwest line, because that's the southwest arm of that, it doesn't intersect any towns or cities directly. It skirts near some, but it does end up hitting right in the center of one town, right in the middle of downtown, about 500 miles away, a little place called Roswell, New Mexico.
Roswell. Mm-hmm.
So, that's what nobody knew this was there. This is in Geneseo, Kansas, where right in front of where the little UFO museum is. And so they're like, okay, this is the Roswell compass. I got the mud to prove it. So they don't know when it was put in. They don't know when that section of concrete was poured exactly. It could have easily been from the era in which Doc Jansen was doing his investigations and things like that. It's sort of a mystery exactly what this means and what exactly it's supposed to come to. Exactly is it a coincidence that it happens to be pointing to the southwest? Kind of might be a UFO shape there on that southwest corner. And it just happens to be that when you draw a line from that exact spot GPS coordinate, it goes straight to Roswell and doesn't touch any other town until it gets there. That's a little weird.
So obviously whoever carved it in there were privy to the wet concrete being like someone was there when the concrete was laid and they've done this, but that means that someone maybe has done some research into coordinates and stuff, maybe an army guy or whatever, and thought, hey, I can carve this on outside the house and show them where Roswell is, and it'll, but it is interesting. Like obviously someone's carved it in. It wasn't an alien that carved it in. But
No.
but it's pretty interesting how they did that, like how they researched that and got it to, like you say, to stop right in the middle of Roswell. I mean,
for the
Roswell
most part
is a question mark, isn't it? I mean,
Roswell, of course, happened 1947-ish. And didn't really become popular in the mainstream until some people came out and were kind of trying to say, hey, there's something to this. Back in like the 80s is when people started getting a buzz about it. And then with shows like Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings and shows like that that would highlight it, then it just exploded.
Yep.
People's knowledge and hearing about it. So prior to that, which again, we don't know exactly how old this is, did somebody pour this and just say, the guy that used to live in that house was a big UFO nut. Well, we'll put this in there. And it just happens to be a direct southwest line to the front door of the place. That's unusual.
It's pretty interesting. But it's some of these people that have, like I flew to Mars and I've got a dog from Venus and whatever. I mean, there were a lot of people back in the day that unfortunately were medically unstable and could have had, issues. But then, who knows? Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe an alien spaceship did land and had a dog on it. Maybe the dog wasn't really from Venus. Maybe they picked the dog up with the ray and sucked him up, abducted him from somewhere on the other side of the world and dropped him off there. But it's absolutely fascinating. I love these little stories, and the thing is, because they're so old, we can't really, and the people aren't alive anymore, we can't really prove that it's not real, can we? Like,
right. Yeah, it's
we don't know.
it is a piece of UFO history past kind of a thing. Because as I mentioned, the one guy's story, once we started, sending men to the moon, that's when, people kind of fell off from his story. It's like, wait a minute, we sent people up there and there's not what you said, that kind of thing. But one last thing, if you could bring up my shared thing again, is
sorry,
something that you can relate to.
Finished.
I had one last thing as far as the museum goes. I was talking with Jim, and he was like, yeah, I gotta, he is not a tech savvy guy. Facebook is a giant, thing for him. He doesn't have a lot of familiarity outside of that. And he's like, yeah, I wish I need to, it costs money to run commercials on TV or radio and stuff like that. It's like, just use your Facebook account, just promote that. And I told him, much like I kind of told you, it's like, what you should do? Make a commercial. And this is what it came up with.
Can we hear it? Is it meant to be sound, Enzo?
You can't hear that?
No, this happened last time with stuff, remember? Pause it. And there was something stupid in the settings. And I can't remember what. Unless it's you. We'll try again. Yeah, there was no sound. Remember we had this problem the other week, people?
All right,
let's
try this.
Okay.
Here's Jim's commercial for the museum for this year. You hear that? Yes?
No. Wait.
Huh.
Pause it. I wish I had paid attention to what it was. Something in the sharing part. So give me a second.
I did the share with where you have to click on the enable sound and all that. That's what I did.
Yeah. Also share tab audio. No, I've done that. Hang on, window.
Wait.
Also share. Entire screen share. Oh, it's right my end.
The saucers and aliens.
Okay. Was that it?
All right. We'll start over again. Third time is the charm.
Yes.
Hey, UFO conference enthusiasts. We've got another great event for you in 2024. Saucers and Aliens Kansas UFO Day in Dimension G is being held in the UFO capital of Kansas, Geneseo, on July 6th. This is a fun festival in the middle of nowhere. There'll be a parade, decorated yards, costumes, vendors, speakers, and a showing of the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. Appropriately, an 8-foot-tall statue of Gort and a statue of Plateau will be dedicated. This will be the only museum in the U.S. with these custom-made statues. If you'd like to donate to the statue project or attend the event, visit GeneseoMuseum.com. That's GENESEO Museum.com. Be sure to bring your camera when you attend the event. That's GeneseoMuseum.com.
I'll be in America on that date.
Hey, also appearing at the Geneseo Museum UFO Day will be the whole gang from Bordertown Paranormal and myself, where we will be holding a live speaking engagement there, where we'll be talking about the history of UFOs in Kansas, a little bit about the museum itself and the dock. We'll also be doing the rare, but this time only questions from the audience, where we will field whatever we can from people's UFO type questions that will be in attendance there live. So,
wow.
That was mostly why we went up there, is because Jim wanted to see what we needed, to actually speak to people and have a chat with them and talk, because it's the last few years, they'll get 40 or 50 people milling around there around the place at a particular time, and sometimes more, sometimes less, going throughout the day. But we'll pick out a time exactly where we'll sit there and do our little chat with the crowds that are there and field all questions.
Cool. Now, I'll interrupt Enzo's program for one moment to thank Tanya, awesome lady who gifted 5 people a membership. So, Tanya, dance. And now I'll play the proper one, Tanya. Tanya's awesome. I hit the wrong one. Doesn't matter. That meant you got, Oh, and I owe somebody. I owe someone. Hang on. We'll get back to Enzo in a second, but I do have to. People take the time to help me out and send me money, every now and then, and become members because it helps me out with the research. And where is she? I'm looking for Sky Talker. There she is. Sky Talker gave me some money this week. She was watching one of my videos and gave me a little super chat. So let's see. Because I did that, we'll do. Let's see Enzo getting abducted, shall we? Since we're talking about aliens. Thank you for that donation you gave me through the week. Thank you.
No, please!
Beam down or beam up. There he is. He's back. So, yeah, thanks. Thank you, sweetie. That was really helpful, and I always appreciate it. So, 2 special girls today, Tanya and Blue Sky Talker. I shouldn't say Blue Sky Talker. It's just Sky Talker because there's Blue Sky Lissa, and it'll get confusing. All right, back to our previous program with Enzo. What are we looking at, Enzo?
Well, of course, this Monday here in the States, we did have a total solar eclipse.
Mm-hmm. A total eclipse of the sun.
I decided to test out one of my new toys that I got just a few days prior to the eclipse, specifically for it. This little white object you see on the tripod here is my Dwarf Labs Dwarf 2 Smart Telescope. And you can see I've got the solar filters installed so I can shoot some video of the sun as the moon passes it. I was going to travel about like 5.5 hours away to be in the totality zone, but it was cloudy. Everywhere that I planned to easily travel to was all clouded out. So I ended up not going. I said, I'll just stay home and I'll just try it out here. This is another angle. I had a external battery bank just to make sure it would record for the 3.5 hours during the whole thing. And before we jump into it, this is what NASA, took a pic. Yeah, they monitor all sunspots on the sun all the time. They give them a number. You can see there's just some of them are very tiny. You can almost barely see. But you will notice these 2 groups of larger ones, which are large enough that they were clearly visible during the eclipse on my video that I shot. And sunspots, of course, are easiest way is probably to say they're cold spots on the sun caused by the whole surface of the sun is kind of this almost like a boiling water type of feature. It's not smooth. And a lot of that roiling is because of magnetism, where you've got little eddies of magnetic circulation going on. And sometimes they, getting those opposites attract, where you've got like a North Pole and a South Pole. You've got these lines of force that go between the poles, like that old science project you probably did in grade school with a bar magnet. You put the paper over it, you put the little iron filings, you can see those lines of force on it. Same thing, except it's on the surface of the sun, and they're kind of flat. Now, to give you a sense of scale, that larger one in the middle, this large one here in the middle, the Earth could easily fit inside. There's actually like a couple of these right grouped together. The Earth could easily fit inside one of those. That's how big that is. So this is very large on the surface. I've been yapping for a while. Let's just jump into it. My videos that I shot with that little camera, the original version, it was kind of small and it jumped around a lot. As you can see, it starts skewing all over the screen and craziness. And I was like, all right, forget that. I'll use a little video tech to stabilize it and look at it ourselves. And you can see those you can see those sunspots on there. I don't know why, but did the video freeze on your end? I can't hear you. I think you're muted, Karen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm muting because of my noisy birds. It has frozen this end. Yes, it's you. Now it's gone. Play it again. Play it again.
Oh,
Play it again.
it's kind of weird. I don't know why I did that. All right. But as it goes across here, you can see from my location, it comes in from the lower right. And you'll notice when it gets to the fullest part, which is coming up right about here, it kind of looks like it moves sort of up into the
And sort of yeah.
There's a reason for that.
And what is the reason for that, Enzo and the science guy?
It's a little bit, it's sort of a parallax. It's your point of view as you're seeing it. Like, say, for example, you're standing in front of a railroad track that runs in front of you. It goes for miles off to your right and miles off to your left. If you take a very narrow angle look off to the one side of seeing the train track disappear in the distance, it'll seem to be kind of canted off to one side. It's not heading directly at you because you're standing in front of it. But as you look at the part that's right in front of you, it's parallel to where you're at. When you look off to your left, it seems to be canted away from you, kind of an idea.
It's just the position you're in.
It's the perspective angles of things that are very large going at a distance towards you and away from you. So when it reaches that maximum point of coverage, then it appears to move off at a weird angle. You may also notice from beginning to end where those sunspots are, the disk of the sun is rotating slowly clockwise as it's moving through the sky. I just have it stabilized where it's in the center of the screen, where you'll see they're a little bit tilted off to the right from where they started in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool that you got that, Enzo. I mean, obviously it didn't move that fast, did it? It would have taken a very long time.
Oh, no, that's a 3.5 hour long process there. Then I figured out a way to put it in the screen behind me here on my little like chroma key green screenish thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of horsed around with that. So then I did a live with some friends of mine over at Unidentified S4 where we covered it. Where I had that live over my shoulder for the rest of the show. There was another interesting thing. This video is from a Starlink satellite during the eclipse, which you'll see in the right. There's the shadow right there. This is near the beginning where it was over Mexico.
Wow. And thank you, Starlink, for providing me with my internet connections. Hit me up, Elon. Hit me up. I'll be a sponsor.
You go. You're ready to go now.
I'm ready to sponsor.
Some of their more recent satellites they put up, they've mounted cameras on them and things like that. So, yeah, I thought that was cool fun.
Hi, Fabrics. Hey to everybody who's been popping in while we're talking about this. I just didn't want to interrupt Enzo because it's quite fascinating. but it's nice to see people popping in. Thank you. There's 33 people in our watching us, Enzo. 33%. They're fascinated with your footage.
It hasn't gone down to 0. I've been talking for so long. I'm talking for a dear.
There's a question for you from Brian.
Have I heard of the ufology channel Goofa? Much better than S4. I am familiar with Goofan's work. I'm familiar with S4's work. I know that I'm not a big fan of Mr. Goofan.
And you are entitled not to be.
You can watch whatever you like. I'm not telling you not to watch him.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite.
And what's Dr. It's all right. Dr. Deb's just making sure people understand that they're saying hello, that she's talking. Julie, a member for a month. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. And as I said before to my members that are watching, you don't have to continue to be a member if you can't afford, I think it's $1.90 or something a month. Like it's not, when you do the membership thing, Enzo, they start with telling you to ask for $4 a month. And I'm like, I'm not asking $4. And then you've got to type in manually, and then it takes it down. That's as low as it'll go. So that's interesting. But thank you, because, when you guys are doing that for me, it's really great, because then when my subscription things for the month come in, it helps. So I do thank you. But it's never, you don't have to either, because at the moment, geez, I can't even afford to eat steak. Have you seen the price of food? It's going through the roof, people. Like even cheap chicken or cheap steak. Like it's just mental. But anyway, but thank you for continuing to be a member. Awesome. Enzo, with the eclipse thing, I wasn't truthfully paying attention to what people were saying before. They were all going on about the 8th of April, the Armageddon and all, like they always do. Whenever there's an eclipse, some crazy crowd of people says, "Ooh, we're going to die." Was that kind of what it was? Like, was that,
Well, the thing is the eclipse is not that out of the ordinary. It usually happens 2 to 5 times every year somewhere on planet Earth. It just happens to be between where the sun and the Earth are to cast the shadow. Mm-hmm. Most of the planet is covered with water, so it's usually out in the ocean someplace where nobody gets to really see it. So when it does,
well, that's where the aliens live, though, in the ocean. So that's why we don't see it.
So but it's still, the moon's still orbiting in the same place it always has. So it's not like it's getting closer. It's not like it's further away, or it hasn't changed its position. There'd be no different effect on the tides and all of these other things that people were saying. The one about the one that I saw that I remember was, do you realize that the totality shadow path is going to pass through 12 different cities named something from the Bible, which is bad, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. The United States has a lot of little towns that are named after something from the Bible in it. A lot. If that's your big argument, it's like, that's not a strong one. So it's a lot like any other kind of, somebody's, it's a TikTok thing, really. It's to get clicks.
Read that.
£4.99 towards half a steak. There you go.
You're awesome. Thank you. Now let's see. Which super chat will I play? So I've got to make more. Oh, well, we watched Enzo. What did I make that one? Yeah, we watched Enzo get abducted. So let's watch the pizza party. Thank you, Jaya. Julie.
I love the robot made of boxes just out there.
It was like when I showed Enzo his jingle. It was sort of like, oh God, Wendy, hang on. It was like he liked how I put the little details in with the Roadrunner and stuff. Wendy, thank you. Oh my God, I'm running out of things I haven't shown people. All right, hang on. We've done the abduction. We've done the pizza party. What haven't I done? Oh, we'll just dance. Let's boogie, Wendy. We should just do one of Enzo dancing at the disco. Oh, do you like now? Disclaimer: I am not, nor have I ever done karaoke. I don't. Never done a karaoke, right? Except in my lounge room, when you're jumping around and watching something and singing. But they do have karaoke in Virginia City on Friday night. And I thought, you know what? I might give karaoke a go when I'm in Virginia City next. I can't sing to save my life, but it could be fun. I should get Enzo to do one. Oh, except the only problem with that is if you play
karaoke level is like way down here at the bottom.
I was thinking, because I thought, wouldn't that be fun if we do a karaoke and do a live stream and we can do karaoke and people. But then I just remembered, if you do that, you get copyrighted on the music.
Right.
That sucks. Okay. You shouldn't be allowed to get copyrighted on the music if it's a
that's on karaoke. YouTube. You could put it on one of the other.
I could put it just on Facebook. Yeah, I could just put it on Facebook. You won't get copyrighted for that, will you? Because it's on your on a private page sort of thing. Oh, Cheryl. She keeps pushing the stripper. For people who don't know, now I'm beginning to vaguely forget. We were talking about the event in Virginia City, and I can't remember why, but Cheryl said something, or maybe I did. I can't remember, Cheryl, but there was a joke about get Karen a stripper. And I'm like, ew, no, like I don't want a stripper. So Cheryl continues that whenever she does, and thank you, Cheryl, whenever she does give me a little treat and helps me out, she says towards the stripper, trust me, if anybody even dared to do that to me, I would be devastated. I'd be so embarrassed. I don't ever want to see a man's bits or anything. Or, no. Unless it was maybe Channing Tatum. Doing I could probably push myself to enjoy that. So another dancer. Let's see, what are we going to do? Pick one, Cheryl. Pick one. Tell me what one you want to see again, because I don't know. I haven't got enough. Yeah, thank you so much. Pick one. Come on, Cheryl, quick, type it in. Pick one. What do you want? Golly. What's Ian saying? I sang Puff the Magic Dragon at karaoke in LA many, many years ago. Mixed responses from other punters. Oh, and so they'd pay me to keep my clothes on. While I'm waiting for Cheryl, you want to see Enzo get abducted again? All right, Cheryl's choice. Let's see. Here we go. Thank you, Cheryl, for helping me out. Awesome. All right, where are we? Make sure I get the right one.
No, please!
Oh gosh, I've got to do some more this week. Brian has a question for you. I did see your comment earlier, Brian, where you said, yes, sometimes people don't like, what's his name? Goofy? What's his name? Gumpher? What's the name? Goofy? Goof on. That sometimes people don't like what people say because he's telling the truth. Cool. I don't know. I've never watched him either. Everyone's entitled to enjoy whoever they like. Enzo, do you consider, I guess it's for Enzo, could be for me too, do you consider spirits, cryptids and UFOs to be paranormal by definition? Yeah, I do. Because anything paranormal is something that you can't quite explain and Yes,
The traditional paranormal definition does include cryptid spirits and ghosts and UFO alien stuff. It all falls under that umbrella. Somehow in the local vernacular the last few years, paranormal has somehow just meant ghosts. But that's not how the word is supposed to be used. It's
anything that's to my belief in paranormal is not that it's just a ghost or a spirit. It's UFOs, it's cryptids, it's Bigfoot, it's unexplained. Like even it reminded me. I watched the old Ghostbusters the other day, the original one, and I forgot all about ESP that used to be talked about heaps back in the day. You don't barely hear anyone talk about ESP anymore and stuff like that. But it was all those
cards with the pictures on them.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah. And then he was getting it right, but he just kept buzzing him anyway. You can keep your money or you can keep your $5, he says as he storms out because he was getting I love that movie. I do love it. What does Kathy say? Paranormal means above or beyond normal. Yeah, just not normal. Just it's not normal. Like, so then what is it? So yeah. Or sometimes paranormal can be normal and quite easily explained, because therefore taking it back to the fact that, well, it was paranormal, but we've looked at it and it was that. So it's good to keep an open mind. It's good to let everybody have their opinions. I mean, I've watched programs where they talk about the paranormal and stuff, and oh boy, some of the people, like there's a lady out there who believes that Bigfoot and its family comes to eat dinner with her and hang out with her. She's quite clearly, bless her cotton socks, not all there, but she believes it. She believes Bigfoot comes to eat dinner with her and picnic. I mean, okay, she can believe it. I'm not going to take that away from her, but the fact that other people believe it, or you'll hear.
Could you imagine if she moved away, someone else bought that house, and they've got Bigfoot showing up at the back door? It's like, hey, dinner time.
Where's our food? I mean, I would love that to be the case, but then if that were truly real, like Enzo, you walk out on your little balcony tomorrow and Bigfoot's there saying, hey, I'm hungry, give me a sandwich. I think anyone with common sense, if that were real, wouldn't talk about it.
Hang on. Go ahead, eat that sandwich.
Yeah. But the last thing you'd really want is anyone actually truthfully finding Bigfoot if it is real, because we know what humans are going to do. They'll probably go in and freaking lay bare the forest just to get to him,
right.
So I don't know. I would prefer, I think if you really had that happening, you could take all the pictures in the world you want, all the video in the world you want, but just be happy and feel blessed or feel very special that it's happening to you, but don't tell anyone, because watch out. They might hurt them. Oh yes, I've heard of that too, Kathy. I've seen that as well, where people are saying, well, I had Bigfoot's baby.
Both male and female people have said that they've had relations with Bigfoot.
I've never heard of a male. I could be wrong, but I've never heard of a man saying, "Yeah, I got it on with a lady Bigfoot." Like, that's kinky.
The one I remember it was more forced upon the man, the female Bigfoot, but I won't get into it. It's a little crazy.
Oh dear. But you got to have a bit of a giggle. What's Ian say? I prefer the term esoteric or Fortean as an umbrella term, although even those don't cover it properly.
Yeah. When you're talking about unknown things, it's kind of hard to have an umbrella everything.
Yeah.
Phrase for it. But
hello, Lynn. You just got here. It is funny. I just people come out with the oddest, strangest stories, which paints them in the light of possibly having some severe mental health issues. And but I can't say that what they're seeing or hearing or whatever isn't real, because who the hell knows? Who really knows what what the world is made of and stuff. So, let them have if that gets them through the day and makes them happy, let them have it, so long as what they're saying doesn't harm anyone else. So long as it's not anything hurts someone else. So let them believe what they want. It's okay. Where are we? Yes, mystical's nice too. I like mystical things. I had I don't know what she was doing on the YouTube, probably using her mum's phone, but there was a little 9-year-old girl commented on my Easter Bunny short and said, the Easter Bunny is not real, neither is Santa, she said. I'm 9 years old. And then I wrote back to her and I said, you know what? I said, it's okay to believe in magical things. Magic is okay to believe in. I said the magic of nature and butterflies and bees and animals that let you pet them, and that's magical. And I said you don't have to believe in the made-up stuff. The world's magical enough. So something along those lines. And I said she's a very clever 9-year-old. I thought that was cute because there's magic in the world. It doesn't have to be the made-up stuff like Santa and the Easter Bunny. Just walk out into your backyard, sit in a park for a while and watch nature at work. That's beautiful. That's magical. Or the sun eclipse, like that's magical. The things that are out there that are just that people don't sit long enough to look at. They get on with their busy life because life can suck, and you forget to. What's the old saying? Stop and smell the roses. But
Soft
just
touch grass.
Yeah, sometimes you just really do have to stop and smell the roses and look at things and go, wow, how is that? How is a rose even possible? It's so beautiful. It smells pretty. It's soft. It's beautiful colors. Like, who made that? Like, nature is magnificent. I do get disappointed sometimes in the human race, but I won't be a Debbie Downer.
Oh, don't want to have it.
Oh, no, I won't be a devil. Brian just says his tablet just crashed, so he had to reboot the whole thing. Technology. You gotta love it. Yeah, I had that happen before I went live today, about 5 to 7 a.m. my time. My computer just suddenly, all of a sudden, rebooted itself and then was updating, and I'm like, oh, not now. But luckily, it only took a few minutes.
I had an update request on my OBS when I fired it up right before the show. I was like, no, I don't want you to update anything before I go
not
live.
now. Yeah. Authentic Happiness Show says, I made a commitment to myself to never forget to stop and smell the roses. Yeah. And that's why I love going out in my garden. Sometimes when it all gets a bit much, I go out in my garden. I let my little chickens out of their area and they walk around and they do their thing. And I just sit there and I just watch. And at the moment where I live, because it's only slightly, it's kind of butterfly season. All the butterflies are coming out because the weather's beautiful for it, a little bit humid and still a little bit warm. And you just sit there and watch all these beautiful little butterflies just flitter around, and sometimes they come over. I've had a couple land on my arm and you go, wow, and then they fly away. And you just think, oh, lovely. Yes, I do have chickens, Wendy, I do. I have 3, 2 black ones and 1 white one. The white one's one of those little fluffy, silky things with the pom-pom on its top, and the black ones are just like, I don't know, black chickens. But they're super cute, super cute. I love my chickens. Chickens are good pets too. If you pick them up and want to pet something, they love a pet. Let's see. Has anyone got any more questions for Enzo? Anything that might have happened this week that we've both missed? Feel free to ask. Let's see. I'm just having a look. Everyone's talking. Whoa, geez. Even Ronald Reagan's gotten a mention.
Good afternoon, folks. There's more to be said about the day.
Oh, what was that? What did you do, Enzo? Lucky it wasn't. Oh, yes. We would have wondered what was going on in the background.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, is that that's you've had a lot of science stuff for us today. Is that the end of the Enzo show for this week?
I have more, but I was like, man, I talked for nearly an hour. I don't want to.
Oh, well then, we'll keep that for next week's episode of Enzo the Science Guy. Did everybody see the Enzo the Science Guy intro? If you didn't, just give me a thumbs up or something, and I'll end the Enzo the Science Guy show with his jingle again. I'm very proud of the jingle. And then we'll get to your question, Brian. But yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, stuff it. I'll just play it anyway because I like it. Where are we? So that's the end of Enzo's little segment for the day on science. And this is Enzo's jingle.
Who's that man in the fancy shirt? Who's the man with the cheeky smirk? Who has the answers? Who can explain? Well, it's Enzo the Science Guy. Enzo the Science Guy. Ask him how, ask him why. Enzo the Science Guy. Please, Enzo the Science Guy.
Oh dear. And I'm glad he sent me his photo of him with the solar eclipse because I used it in his intro. But there you go. Yeah, pretty cool. Brian said, what's your scariest paranormal experience? I've never had one, Brian. I haven't been scared by anything paranormal that I can think of. I've been scared by plenty of humans and interactions with humans that have been terrifying, but never the paranormal. Not scary anyway. I've had experiences that are paranormal, I can't explain, but not scary. And so just like, what the hell was that? I don't know. What about you, Enzo? Anything?
Nothing scary. I mean, I see 2 UFOs in my life, and I never was scared that. It was mostly like, what the hell am I looking at? Figure it out. Trying to pull it through was I really seeing what I think I see? What am I seeing anyways? It's I was never really scared.
Oh dear, what's Enzo the Science Guy? Enzo the Science Guy merch. Oh, I suppose we could make mugs.
Mugs,
Yeah.
like sell some
Or
hats.
little hats, yeah. Personally signed tinfoil hats by Enzo the Science Guy. We should wear.
Certified tinfoil. Enzo brand tinfoil.
Do you know what we should do for the event, Enzo, as a kind of a joke, but sort of make some tinfoil hats for people and you can autograph them, give them out.
Negative ways.
Enzo, would you go into space?
Yes.
Yeah, even I would.
If William Shatner can go, I can go.
Yeah, Enzo can go. Sky Talker says, I'd proudly carry Enzo around on my chest on a T-shirt, of course.
Oh, on a T-shirt.
On a T-shirt, of course. Oh, gosh. Oh, well, it's something I can think of. I kind of find, look, I know it sounds funny. I know people have merch on their channels. And I've got some. I haven't even looked at it. I must go in and probably delete a whole heap of stuff because it was something. Who did I do it? Mike O, he's probably gone. But Mike O said, make a mug, so I did. And Mike O purchased one with Bigfoot on it. So thank you, Mike O.
Everyone
Was
can
it
have a mug.
fantastic?
This is
There
what
you
I got
go.
from Geneseo, and it has the Roswell.
It's even got the Roswell compass on it. So there you go. So I kind of think, I don't know, for me, I feel very embarrassed that someone would want merch with my head, or like it's really kind of weird. I don't know. But then having said that, I've purchased merch from other creators because I like what they do and whatever. So I don't know. We'll think about it. It just feels embarrassing. Oh my goodness. we shouldn't have put that picture of you up, Enzo. It's created quite a stir. And I did see Tanya's comment on you a while back when you showed the photo of you at the museum. Cheeky girls in chat.
With my big gut hanging out. Believe it or not, I was bigger than that 6 months ago. I'm working on it. Give me a little more time.
He's working hard. Hey, Bud Files. Let's see. What's Kathy saying? One of my grandpas rolled a ball back and forth with me when I was 4 years old. Both my grandpas died before I was born, but I said what the old man looked like. The parents. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I will share a paranormal story with you. Nothing scary, but paranormal, not explained. My son Alex, my eldest boy, his grandpa took his own life just before Stephen, my other boy, was born. So I was very, very pregnant with Stephen, and Alex was just 18 months old when it happened. We went quickly to visit my husband's mum because it was her husband, my husband's dad. We went very quickly, straight there, the day it happened, whatever. And the next day, my husband took my son up to the little park behind the house. And it was sunny, so Oma said, take the hat. And it was Orpa's, that was Orpa. It was Orpa's beanie, but just take the hat because it's a bit sunny. They went off to the park, and when they come back, my husband said, so weird. And I said, what? And he goes, we're at the park. He said, I'm pushing him on the swing or whatever. And he said he's going, wee, Orpa, wee. And I'm like, what? And then we talked about the beanie, and we put the beanie over to the side, and Alex goes, Orpa said yes. And I said, what did Orpa say? Because he could talk, but, 18 months olds are like. And I said, Orpa said yes. I said, oh, did Orpa say, about the beanie? He goes, yes. Orpa says yes. But so he could borrow the beanie. And I'm like, okay, so that's a bit creepy. But then we a kid, imagination maybe, I don't know, because he didn't know what had happened. Little Alex hadn't the foggiest idea. He probably just thought Orpa was at work, But when we got home, for about 2 weeks after Orpa had passed, I would be woken up at about 2:30, 3 o'clock to Alex in his little bedroom in his cot going, peekaboo, and laughing. Peekaboo, and laughing. And I got creeped out, and I went in there and I said, Bubby, it's bedtime. Orpa, peekaboo. And I'm like, oh. So what do I think about that? I don't know what I think about that, but to have an 18-month-old telling me that they're playing peekaboo with Orpa in their bedroom at 3 a.m. is a bit like, I wonder if that, I wonder. So that story that you just told, Kathy, about your grandpas and whatnot, it was Kathy, wasn't it, Kathy, that told me that? It told us that? Yeah, Kathy. So I believe in that. I'm still thinking, based on my experiences when my son was killed, and based on even talking to Sonny's lovely wife, I've been talking to her, that I still think somehow, I don't know how it's possible, and you can never prove these things, but I reckon somehow there's just a short window of time after someone passes, someone that's loved you very much, when they pass. I don't know what it is, but so many people I talk to all say the same thing. Directly after the death, they feel the presence of that person and strange things, like they're being watched, or like that person's there keeping an eye on things, and funny, odd things happen. Just little funny, odd things that they can't explain. And then it peters out. It slowly disappears. And it did with my son, probably 4 weeks after his death, once he was buried, once, all the well wishes stop. That sense that weird things, or like they're watching you, disappears. So I reckon somehow, maybe, again, it's just a theory, but somehow maybe who we were now living when we die, who we are now, somehow has the capacity to hang around and just keep an eye on things, and then they lose the strength to do so, perhaps, and they move on to where they're supposed to go or whatever. Maybe that energy dissipates, and they can no longer maintain visiting us when they just, they have to go. But it's interesting that you should say that, because, it happened to my son, and weird things happened to me after my boy died. So I don't know if Enzo's had anything like that happen with someone he loves that's passed. I don't know. Some people... pay attention. Some people dismiss it as just, oh, that's funny, and don't think about it. But what about you, Enzo?
I've talked about my neighbor. She's 77 now, 78. But last year had some tragedy where one of her sons passed away. He's like 50
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But anyways, where he passed away suddenly without chatting with him one moment, and then he was supposed to be somewhere and wasn't there. And when they try to call him, no answer. They go to the house and he's gone. But for a couple of days after the funeral, she said that she's sitting there just in a total distressful wreck in her house, and she has a little like lamp sitting next to her recliner there in the TV room. And she said the bulbs started flickering on the thing. She's like trying to adjust it and messing with it. He's like, great, the bulb's going out. So she gets another bulb, replaces the bulb, and where the bulbs she kept in this back closet, which is like her utility room where the washer and dryer is, that light in that room started flickering the same way. And she's looking at it and she's like, what the hell's going on in my house? I have some kind of electrical problem. And she said, just out of nowhere, the light came on. And when she thought that, winked out and was back on and stayed. Somehow in her head, she just kind of assumed that was her son trying to say, I'm okay.
Yeah. Stop crying. I'm okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it really helped her out. I'm certainly not going to be some kind of an ass. It's like, let me look at that electrical problem you have. Let me see this bulb or whatever. I totally left it alone. And because she's actually, that's not the first, weird thing that she's seen over at her place. But as far as, loved one gone like that, she shared that with me, and I was honored that she did, that she could talk to me about that. That's not just telling
yeah. And look, it's interesting. And as I said to Sonny's wife, if it is sunny, and probably is, if it's sunny, just look for everything you can, and my advice to her was, because it will stop. For whatever reason, it stops. And I think it's just their energy, or they're ready to go, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. But it's odd. So it's nothing provable. And everyone, and I'm looking at the chat, guys, so I can see what you're all sort of saying. It's nothing provable. We can't, like, people can believe you or not believe you, but it's something that, even, and I know a lot of people who have been with me for a while would have heard me tell this story before. But after Stephen died, I was alone at home, and I was hyperventilating. I was starting to I couldn't breathe. And if there's one thing that my son Stephen hated, he absolutely despised it, because he lived up with me up until his early 20s. If I would get upset and cry about something, he'd go, Mum, stop it. And it didn't matter what it was. It could have been something absolutely legitimate that I had to cry about, but he hated to see me cry. So he would say, the F word. He'd go, stop it, stop crying. So here I am in my lounge room, home alone, going into the distraught mode of grief. People that have grieved, you know what I'm talking about. And I couldn't breathe. And while I was doing that, I was looking at a picture of him while I couldn't breathe, because that's what I was looking at. That's why I was hyperventilating. Well, without a word of a lie, and this is not a lie, that picture went with force, not like tittle and over. It went with force. It went bang. The dog was like, oh, what was that? And I've gone, I stopped crying. And I'm like, and then something in my head was, effing shut up, Mum, stop crying. And I've gone, Stephen? Okay. Like, that's how I reacted, and I stopped crying. And then I got up and I went straight to the picture and thought, what the hell? It had been there for years and not moved. Why did it pick that moment to go bang? Like, no, I didn't see anyone touch it. No, nothing rattled past the house. Nothing like that. It was just inexplicably boom. Almost like Stephen was saying, friggin' stop it, Mum. stop crying. So see, we all have weird things happen, and people can believe other people, but it's all individual, and it is weird, and it's generally always around the time of the death of the person that you've loved very much, and then it does fade. And other silly things happened in regard to Stephen as well. When I wasn't coping, things would happen, and then it just sort of dissipated. And I kind of wish it never did. I still wish that maybe I could look over and he'd throw a picture at me or something, because then I'd be super happy. I'd think, I don't care, I'm just going to cry to make you throw something at me so I know you're around. But I hope wherever he's gone, or wherever his energy is, I kind of hope it's a good place, or a good, maybe he is in a great big energy ball somewhere, I don't know, maybe he's in Mars, or maybe he's got a dog on Venus. Who knows? I just hope he's the tragedies that were happening in his life before his death. I just hope that he doesn't, wherever he is, that doesn't bother him anymore. Do you know? I don't know, but anyway, yeah, yes, Maisie, lots of things. Weird things do happen. See, that's hard too. So you hear whispers, someone saying I'm in heaven and stuff, and that's another interesting thing, because some people who pass away, their near-death experiences and come back, oftentimes a near-death experiences, which is a whole other conversation, but you'll hear people talk about what they saw when they died and when they come back. Some people say that they merely were out of their body and could see what the doctors were doing to them, and then they've come back into their body. Some people say, I saw a light and I saw Jesus, and Jesus had his hand held out. But then you realise that person has been raised in the church, and that's their belief system stored in there. So that's why they might see that. Then you have other people say, well, I just saw all my loved ones. That, as a nurse, is absolutely what I get from them. Well, everyone I've been with when they've passed away, to see their loved ones. I've never had anyone tell me they've seen Jesus. But I do get people tell me my mum, my brother, my sister, oh, that's my daughter. I do get that. I've had that, and it's a bit, you get the chills when they say it, because also you know that they're probably less than a day or a few hours away from going.
My sister was a hospice nurse, and she said the same thing, is whenever one of her patients would start talking about seeing, past loved ones, she knew that 24 hours at the most, probably, they were gone.
Yeah. It's definitely quick the minute you start, and then there's scientific arguments for that it's the brain, it's chemicals. Well, it might well be. There's definitely a chemical breakdown happening in the brain when your body is dying. But it's interesting that how that's always
as you're dying, yes, I'd say I would agree with that, but not 24 hours before.
Yeah. Ian says, the night his grandpa died, he knocked on my front door. Long-winded story, because he also knocked on my grandma's front door minutes after he died. Yeah, strange things like that, Ian, that happen. And people who believe in, I don't want to go in this direction, but I'm trying to make a point. You will often get naysayers who go, oh, rubbish. And I think, well, that's okay. It can be rubbish. But when someone's grieving, when it's an absolute,
let them have
you let them believe whatever they want to believe, and never, ever say to someone that didn't happen. That's your imagination. That's, rubbish. They didn't see their family before they died. Because people who say stuff like that probably have not experienced grief. Maybe they've had a pet dog die, or maybe great-grandma died, or, maybe people within the family have passed away, but they've never obviously experienced the horror that someone's gone. And when you're dealing with grief and you think, or you assume you've seen something or someone, and it makes you feel better, and it helps you cope with their passing.
Yeah,
it's a coping mechanism. And for someone to turn around to that person who says, oh, I saw grandpa knock at the door, or I saw my dad and then he faded, or whatever, who are we to say you didn't see that? You probably bloody well did. And so how dare someone say, oh, rubbish, that's just this, or, wait until someone you love dies. wait until you are grieving so bad you can't get out of bed in the morning. Let these people have those stories. Let those people embrace what could well be a visit from someone that they loved, could well be someone popping in to check on them. And the only way they can do that is how it happens. And maybe we're watched all the time, but they can't interact. So that's what I search for. That's what I look for. That's the whole point of what I do on my channel. Although you don't see it, I'm always looking. I will look at paranormal shows and think, what could that be? And then, so never, ever take it away from someone when they tell a story. As fantastical as it might seem to you, that story, that thing that's happened to that human has helped them deal with the loss of someone that they love immensely, and let them have it, because at the end of the day, you take that away, you upset them, and that's just mean, in my opinion. In my opinion. End of Karen rant. Let's see. Brian, what did you say? 1999, I had a near-death experience during which my heart stopped for 4 to 8 minutes, and where I went and what I saw confirmed for me we go on. Well, Brian, yes. I think somehow energy does go on, and it's just up to us possibly as to where we continue to go on. Do we just go, yeah, nah, I've had enough? Like, frankly, I think if I died tomorrow, I'd be quite happy not to carry on anywhere. Life is exhausting. Just let me sleep.
Brian, I'm curious, do you no longer fear death now that you know that that's waiting for you now? Because
I don't fear death.
Yeah.
I don't fear death. That's why I'll tell everybody something in a minute, because some people, we've got 31 people watching, so 31 people, bless your cotton socks, have stuck with us. We're only on for another 20 minutes, but you've stuck with us. So I'll tell you something in a minute. But what's Sky saying? Actually, as we are remembering these experiences, think about what are using for. Yeah, I know. That's why I got so upset. That's why I made my little video about them. It's heartbreaking that. Like I say, if that were real, if that was true and that was real, I would be the first person on a plane to go and see him and talk to Stephen and get them to talk to Stephen. But they're not real. So, and I'm not going to give them, just FYI to the people who are still here, going forward, no longer will I be giving them any oxygen. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to hear their name. I don't want to look at their faces. I certainly don't want to look at anything associated with them, because to me, it's distressing. They distress me. I personally get very distressed at their content. It upsets me and brings back memories, and I get, like I'm now, emotional. They're very not nice people. So we'll move on, and I'll tell you the reason I know I don't fear death. Because I'll be fine, by the way, with what I'm about to say. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I've got to get a little test done in a couple of weeks and just sort of check something out, because I've got a tumour that could be naughty, and I've got to get a biopsy and stuff, right? Am I worried by it? A little bit stressed that I don't know what it is. But you know what stresses me out the most? Not that if they turn around and say, oh, it's really bad and you need all this and it might kill me. That doesn't stress me out. It stresses me out that they might say that, and then I've got to have treatment, because I know my lovely ones in here are there's quite a few of you in here who've gone through chemo. It is a horrible thing to go through. You are so sick and it's crappy and all that. Now, do I think I've got the big C? No. I think it's probably just something annoying and I'll have to fix it. But on the other hand, if it is the big C, am I scared of dropping dead or whatever? No, not really. I'd be like, oh, well, at least it'll give me time to organise things, and then beautiful, I'll get to see my Stephen. That's how I feel. So I'm not scared of death. I'm scared of how I'd go. Like, I guess I wouldn't want to fall from a high building because I'm scared of heights. That sort of thing. But yeah, no, I just think, yeah, death doesn't scare me at all anymore because of my experiences with Stephen, because whatever that was before not before, at the time of his death, whatever that was that I experienced, I think I was experiencing what he was feeling at the time, not pain. I don't mean that, but like I think I experienced what he was thinking at the time of his death in that, oh my God, there's no tomorrow. Like, I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? And it's so I think, well, if he could do that, then good. That means that when I die, we go on some new adventure. So it's just like a new adventure. So yeah, I'm not worried. I don't know. Do you care if you die tomorrow, Enzo?
Well, nobody really wants to die.
Not wants to die, no.
I don't feel like I have any like unfinished business in this world where I'd be like, no, if I could only live one more day to do something like that, I would be okay with it. 'Cause honestly, I thought I was going to die a long time ago.
Yes, with that car accident and everything, yeah.
A myriad of other things that have happened in my past. Honestly, like one of the reasons why I joined the Air Force is like, yeah, we're all going to die in a nuclear war. I want to be under the missile when it hits. So I'll just join the military and I'll be on that first strike.
Yeah, I'd much rather, if someone said tomorrow they're going to drop a bomb, I'd go, where are they going to drop it? And if it were close by, I'd think, well, I've got a choice. I can either get in my car, grab all of my animals and drive far away and live in the fallout world, which would be horrendous. And then you'd probably get sick and die anyway. Or I can just go closer to ground zero, kiss everybody and go, see you in the next one and see what happens. I hope that never happens. I hope that. And isn't it scary, though, to know that there's countries in the world where in the morning where you wake up, it's just so horrendous. Like when you really think about it, there's countries in the world where what we're doing right now would be a luxury. They don't even go to sleep at night without worrying about a bomb coming, on their house or some crazy person dragging them out of their house to hurt them or whatever, like war-torn zones. Like it's sad that even exists still. So we're pretty friggin' lucky people. Despite all of our things, we're lucky at the moment that we live in countries where our forefathers have gone to war to protect us, which a lot of people have forgotten about, the younger generation. I think that the younger generation is forgetting exactly what they owe their great-grandpas and stuff.
They're soft and weak.
That's right. You asked me. But I just think, dear. And look, guys, don't worry. I'm just putting forward there that is happening. So if I seem a little bit stressed, and I'm stressed about a lot of things, that'll probably be what it is. And do you know why I'm stressed? Because when the doctor said, when I had the scan, the doctor said what was wrong, I said, oh, cool, can we get this sorted out today? Like, where can I go to get the biopsy or whatever? I'm stressed, not because of what's happening. I just want to get it fixed and sorted out.
Yeah, let's go.
Because, let's go. Let's do this. They only do it once a week, and there's only particular people who can do it because it's the thyroid and it's this and it's that. And I'm like,
so you're going to make me sit on this and stew on it for weeks?
Yeah,
now?
it was going to be. Yeah, so I actually, he gave me the thing. I went and I said, I want this done ASAP. And the soonest they could do it, they said, was 8 weeks from last week. And I looked at them. I said, what? I said, that's just not good enough. Oh, well, but anyway, good news is 2 weeks because I jumped up and down and went somewhere else. But that's what stresses me out, not what's happening, the fact that people can't be organised. You need to be more organised than, see you in 8 weeks. Like, it should be see you at the very least in 8 days. So, it's very, very annoying. What's Brian say? Death is neutral. It doesn't discriminate young, poor, rich, or when your number is up. That's it. That's correct. You never know. I could walk out of here today and complain all about whatever I want to, and like my son, like you think you've got tomorrow. He thought he had tomorrow, new job, etc., and he went out in the car and he never came home. So life sucks, guys. What's Dr. Deb saying? Is that a radioactive iodine uptake study? No, it is not. To my knowledge, they're just going in to take a biopsy of whatever that tumour is. So they'll biopsy it first, see what it is, and then if it's anything to worry about or whatever. But I said to them, well, it's annoying me a little bit. I can feel it. So we're at least going to cut out whatever it is, aren't we? So I don't want to end up with a goiter on my neck. That'd be beautiful. Oh, dear. What's Brian say? There's only one true rule of life: death. Death always wins. Well, we've all got to die. That's why you've got to try and be good in your life, and that's why. Yeah, and so stress is one thing. Worrying about dying like I saw someone, I can't remember who it was now, but I am trying to read through the comments, by the way, people, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm just but yeah, it's kind of like with death, if you're lucky, and you'll go, what? If you're lucky to be told you're going to die? Yeah, if you're lucky and you get diagnosed with something and you're told you are going to die, you can have all this done, but you are going to die. You know, this will just lengthen your life. You're, in my opinion, lucky because you've got time to make sure you tell everyone in your world that you love them. You've got time to organize things. You've got time. You do have time. But when it happens quickly, like Enzo could quite easily not be with us. He was in a really bad accident when he was a young boy, right? He could quite easily not be with us. My son is no longer with me. The people that we lose, boom, like that. Sonny, classic. Who'd have thought? Like, you know, we lose these people suddenly through heart attacks, car accidents, sudden deaths that are unexpected. Worst ever, because they've got things left unsaid. They might have just had an argument with someone that on the whole scope of the argument didn't matter, but they've passed away just after an argument, which leaves the living person like, oh my God, I told him to get effed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people who get told and diagnosed and told they're going to pass away, in my opinion, are the lucky ones, because you do have time to say goodbye. You do have time. You do. It's, in one way, it's a gift, if you ask me, especially when you have to go through losing someone you love suddenly and you never had time, and they never wrapped up the loose ends. You know, they never had a will to make sure things are okay. They never got to tell you that, oh shit, you know, I love you, or let's do this one last thing while I'm still here, or, you know. So I don't know. I actually get this is just me, this is because of my grief thing, when I hear people say, well, my son or daughter or whatever has cancer and they're going to die, I'm awfully sad for them because I know the horror of what it's like to lose a child. But I kind of get jealous because I think, yeah, but you've got time to tell them that you love them. I never had that. So that's my opinion, and now I'm getting all soggy. Talk, Enzo.
Well, it's certainly one of those things that everyone has their regrets, of course, and that's, as awful as it is to say, is you shouldn't leave things unresolved for a long period of time
No.
between you and someone else, because those are those kind of regrets that are going to eat away at you forever until you end up meeting with them when you pass yourself. But so it's best not to do that. I mean, sure, you're gonna, it never fails. You're gonna get an argument with somebody. You're gonna be, you know, a little pissy about something. Yeah. But don't let it be like one of those dividing things. That's it. I'm not ever talking to that person again because they called me a duty head or whatever.
Yeah, or because they said I'm an idiot, or they said, we all say things that we don't mean. I'm lucky that I didn't say anything like that to my son. He just always knew I loved him. So that part's okay, but it's just annoying because there were certain other things that, little bugger, he should have fixed things. Like he never had a will because he was young. And young people think, oh, I don't need a will. And then what happens?
Forever.
Yeah, and then what happens? He died in absolute chaos. And unfortunately now what he could have given his children, if there had been a will, what was left, what he had that could have gone to those little children for when they become adults, it's gone. It was squandered, so it's gone. By somebody else, not family. So do you know what I'm saying? So make sure you've all got wills, okay? Very important. Make sure you've got a will, especially if you've got children.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you've got children. Hello, Taylor, darling. She's lurking in the background. I'm having a little talk with her a bit later. We're going to talk. We're going to have a catch-up. It's a very painful and hard lesson, but it's a gift not to let it happen again. Yeah. And Taylor, of course, has just lost her beautiful daddy, John, but she was lucky. She got to spend those last few moments with him, and he knows, you know, she knows he loved his little girls. So and he was gorgeous. And he even said I was nice. So for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you, Taylor. I love you too. I'm sorry I'm getting a bit sooky today, guys. Not very professional of me, is it? It's all right. We don't need crying. There's no crying in YouTube. Dear. What's Black Cat's?
I think I saw something walking around behind you there.
Oh, which one? Oh, yes. Yes, he's here. What do you want, boy? Oh. Here's me little mate. There he is. There he is. Go closer. Let everyone see your little face.
What?
Oh, this one. There he is. He never likes being held up. Look at him.
He hates it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The animals. Yesterday, I've been very emotional lately. I'm just stressed. There's a lot happening. Not health. I mean, there's the health thing, and then there's these stupid air conditioning people that won't fix what they didn't fix, like what they didn't install properly. And then I've got other stuff happening. I've got too much happening in 1 week. And then some other stuff happened yesterday that put me off, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I've got friends that are going through crap that are telling me the crap they're going through, and I worry about my friends, you see. So when they tell me what's wrong with them, I listen, but at the moment, for whatever reason, their problems are staying. It's not my problem, but their problems are sitting here with me, so I'm getting all stressed. I've got to let it go. I've got to let it go. Hello, Crow. Crow's there. Yeah, thanks for all those hearts. Who are they for, Wisdom? Me? But the one thing I can say about going live with Enzo every week, number one, gives me something to look forward to. Number two, it's always fun with Enzo. He always makes me laugh. He's always got something interesting to say. And number three is when I look in the chat and I see the regulars and I see the new people, but it's just such a beautiful community. You guys are gorgeous. Like, you're so supportive, and you do, like, you know, when someone's feeling a bit off, you always say something nice, and I see you talk to each other within the chat, backing it, like, separate to what Enzo and I are talking about, like backing each other up. And I just think, good on you, because yeah, life sucks sometimes, and other times life's really great. But it's just nice. I look forward to this, and like, even I said to Enzo before I started, I'm a bit, I'll be right, and I am now. I've had my little sooks, so sorry about that, guys. I've had my little cry, but it's very hard to sometimes just control those emotions. Everybody knows that. Do boys get like that, do you think? Sometimes not as much. I think because boys are raised to, boys don't cry.
Yeah,
not so much anymore, but not, my boys were always told cry if you want to, but certainly before that, like my level and your level, boys don't cry, like toughen up, so whereas girls cry all you want. So I think it's sad that sometimes boys can't cry, but they can. If a boy wants to talk to me and cry, you can cry, because I see that as a sign of strength. I don't see a sign of strength when they hold it in, because it's not good for them. So they should let it go. Oh, thanks, Dr. Deb. What's that? Hang on. Ian says, the trick is not worrying about your friends. It's to not have any friends like me. Ah, Ian. You've got a friend in me. Look, it's funny, especially the last few weeks, anyone who's familiar with what's been going on in the paranormal world, and I'm honestly over it, like the whole thing that I don't want to give oxygen to anymore. It's amazing, the nastiness out there and the immaturity of people that one would assume are old enough to know better. And that's all I'm going to say. So I look at what's been going on, and I look at the nastiness and threats of, and people will know if you've looked at anyone's feeds, how they have comments under things. Oh my goodness, people, get a grip. Like, there's some nasty, nasty people out there. And it's sad because a lot of people feed on it. It makes them happy to be nasty, which is terrible. So, I don't know, but I just, it's been a bit stressful because people that I do care about have been getting picked on unnecessarily, and it's uncalled for. But it's okay. I've learned to hit the unsubscribe button and the do not notify me of content button, and I'm feeling much better. But
Amazing
so far,
how that works, isn't it?
it's amazing how that works. So I just stay connected to people who make me happy. Like Crossover Paranormal Society has just popped in. I'm not sure what time it is there. What time is it with you, Enzo, at the moment?
It is 6:03 p.m. on Saturday. So
All right,
it's,
6:03.
yeah.
So I'm not sure, but yeah, Crossover Paranormal Society. I love it. I see that he's live sometimes. Sometimes I can't say hello to him because I'm busy doing something else, but I see and I pop on for a minute. He's usually just driving to work or he's sitting in the car park chatting to people, and he makes me smile. He's a lovely, lovely man. He never has a bad word to say about anybody, unlike me. Dear. Let's see. But yeah, I just try now to continue to watch things that'll make me happy, but I still care about my friends. So when I see my friends being hurt, I get very passionate and I know I should let it go because it's beyond my control. It's not actually my problem. But I do tend to share my friends' problems and think, I can't fix everything, but I want to. And I can't. So it's just been a stressful couple of weeks. But hopefully all that shite will disappear, and I've blocked different people, so good. Excellent. That's my advice to anybody here. If you're continually seeing content popping up in your feed that is stressful or nasty, just block it. Just, you know what, I won't watch that anymore. Revisit later maybe. I'll block it for now. I don't want to see that. I might come back, see if it settles down, and I'll come back later. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all I can do, because otherwise I just get too wound up. But there you go. Let's see. Ria says, the community matches the host. The community is beautiful, so that tells us all we need to know about you, Karen. Oh, geez, I tell you what, Ria, sweetheart or what? Oh, trust me, I can be a Karen. I can live up to the meme, but it's generally passion. It's generally passion driven. And then I've done it. I've called friends. I spoke with Tanya yesterday and went, and I felt much better after I spoke to her. I still felt passionate about something, but I had to rant because I was like so wound up. So I'm very lucky that I've got some lovely people who listen to me rant and then tell me to settle down. And then I go away, I have a cup of tea, go outside, mow my lawn or something. I come back in and I go, right, yes, I'll settle down. That's out of my control. I cannot control that. It's out of my control. Let it go. And that's it. That's all you can go. Don't give in to the bad juju. Yeah, I think we all do. A good friend always tries to, but there's limits to how much we can do before the same people that might be mean or nasty to our friends turn on us. And then it's like, oh, my God, because I've defended that person now, I've opened myself up to abuse as well. So, and for people like myself or other people in the chat that I know you are going through health issues, stress is the last thing we need. So there you go. Wisdom, I love you. I see it. Let's see. What's the time? Oh my God, I've gone 2 minutes over because I rant so much. Hey, I hope everybody has actually enjoyed the live this week with Enzo's little segment. I want to do that every week. I reckon it'd be awesome. And what I might do, Enzo, when I've got time, I might just take your little bit out, edit it down a little bit, and turn it into a 15-minute or 20-minute little episode, and then people can, if you want to catch rather than have to sit through the live, you can catch what Enzo said on everything that he talked about this week, and I'll edit it down. I might do that because that'll be, because I know people love listening to you talk. They all tell me so. They all say they look forward to Enzo talking about sciencey stuff.
I was going to apologize for prattling on for nearly an hour.
No. See, everyone loves Enzo. And Taylor is probably listening in the background. But the positive, when Taylor was on, was it, oh God, Taylor, was it last week? It was when you weren't here, Enzo. Oh, shit. Oops. Taylor was on, and we were talking about the event. And wow, people just loved Taylor. So Taylor will probably come on. She said when she's, because she works far too much, if you ask me, but she does work. So for her to get time to come on and say g'day can sometimes be she's exhausted. She just wants to have the weekend to do nothing and not think, if you know what I mean. But people did love Taylor. So every now and then we'll have Taylor on and she can talk about something Virginia City-ish because that's where she lives. And I think I've told you all before, Taylor, could you two stop it? It's no time for playing. Oh, the Rottweiler and the puppy are playing. So, she works at Sutro Tunnel, which a lot of you people might be familiar with the Sutro Tunnel. If you're not, I did do an episode on it. Go find it. I can't remember what it's called. Just type in Sutro Tunnel. And also she works at the 4th Ward School, which is a museum now, really, and it's beautiful. So, and she knows heaps about the history of different people in Virginia City, hence the reason she will be giving a talk at the Magical History Weekend in Virginia City. So it's pretty cool. All right, guys, let me see. I'm just going to double check. And thanks to all of you who came in and said hello. We had 38 people watching at one point, Enzo. Someone told me I can look and see a thing. I didn't know. All this time I thought I had to look down at stupid YouTube to know, who was still going. So we've managed to entertain 30-odd people for a couple of hours. So thank you for hanging out.
Who doesn't want to hear about dogs from Venus? Come on.
Yeah, dogs from Venus. I mean, that's pretty exciting. I've got a dog that's not from Venus, but I can't show you. If I had a camera that would move, at the moment the Rottweiler is laying on the floor and she's got puppy's leg in her mouth, just holding it. They're playing. Oh, thank you. I shall look at the pretty butterflies. And thank you again I'll just double check I say thank you again verbally. Thank you again to Tanya for gifting the memberships. Awesome. Thank you. And congrats to anyone who got that today. I'll double check. And to Jaya and Guy and Dee for continuing to be a member, and Wendy, and to Jaya and Wendy and Cheryl for giving me the super chats. That was really awesome, and thank you. And it will not be going towards a stripper, Cheryl. No strippers for this little black duck. So I'll end it now, and keep an eye out if you want to revisit what Enzo said about the eclipse and his footage on the eclipse. I'll edit that down maybe tonight, and I'll pop it in a little thing for you. So rather than have to rewatch a live, you can just look at Enzo chatter away. Hey, Parasolo, I'm just about to end it all. All right, guys, I'm going to end it all now. So I'll see you all next week, same time, same back channel, and Enzo will no doubt have something else to talk about because I know he does. So we'll talk about something else next week. And I love you all, and thank you for supporting me when I'm feeling a bit off. So you're all awesome. So thanks, guys. And that's it. I'll see you all next week, and just be good, all right? And look after yourself. Most important, look after yourself. Bye, everybody.